great.
Well, it's certainly great to see Craig out from the UK, but it's happened here since you've arrived. Another one going back to the UK, and Tommy Docherty. We said farewell to him last week on the program, but it seems to be following you around.
Yeah, it's a sort of one-family reign of terror in Australia, I suppose. It's sad to see Tommy going, but, well, we've seen him off in some style, haven't we?
That's right. Well, prior to his departure to the UK was his final look at his young Olympians in action, and that was the match against the Leichhardt Strikers. And Mike Hill took time out to talk with the legendary Tommy Docherty.
Tommy, what made you come to Australia originally? What brought you out here for Sydney Olympic?
John Thompson. A man I've known since 1963. I call him Johnny Anopoulos. Other people call him something else. He's a marvellous little man. He's a great friend. And probably I'll miss him more than anyone else when I leave Australia. Because he's a marvellous little fella. And every British club comes out here. He's sort of liaising between everyone. And he brought me out. No one else. Sydney Olympics didn't bring me out. He brought me out. And when I leave, I'll be sad because I'll be leaving him because he's a marvellous little fella.
And why are you leaving exactly?
I'm leaving because I want to get back into the big stream. I've got a little bit of a domestic situation. We've got 3 kids, and you know, I think it's right that the father should see them. And if I come out here and they all come out here, there's no way he would see them. And I don't think that's right. I think it's right that he should see them. I'll miss the lads. The lads here have been fantastic. They're a great set of kids, and we're a good side, and I'll miss them very much as well, Mike.
Where do you think soccer is going in Australia, though? You've been out here firstly in the late 60s. Have you seen it progress in that time?
Well, I was here in 64, and it was very, very good. I came out in 75 in Man United. I hadn't progressed all that much. And I come out now, about 5 months ago. And it's gone well, but it's not gone as well as I thought it would be. I think the fact is that there's so many little people who are non-entities, who don't matter. That all they're interested in is their own little club, their own little domain. They're not really interested in the progress of Australian soccer. I think that's what's wrong.
Do you put this down just to administration of the Phillips League or the whole of Australia?
No, it's a problem with the whole of Australian soccer, not just the administration of the Phillips League. I think Brian Lafair has done a great job here. I think Brian Lafair and Sir Arthur George should be the strongest, and Paul Kemp should be the strongest men in Australian soccer. They should hire and sack the administrators, like clubs hire and sack the coaches. I think Sir Arthur George people are after his head. I think he's done an incredible job. You've got to have a dictator in football. And he's the biggest man in Australian soccer. You know, people say, oh, he's done this, and he's hired a coach, and he's sacked the coach. Of course he has. But the man that's never done anything, the man that's never made a decision, has never made a mistake. I think he's a fantastic man. No matter what people say about him, I've had my disagreements with Sir Arthur George. But I think at the moment, he is the best man to run Australian soccer. I think Brian Lafair is a brilliant secretary. I think Brian, and him and I had a joke about it, I think Brian's got to go to more soccer matches on a Sunday and appreciate the fact that clubs there have problems at club level. And as being the top secretary in the ASF, he can solve the problems by being there, as to not being there. Paul Kemp's done a great job. He's got a lot of problems, but all secretaries have. They're not all, some of them are his, they're not all his. But I think if people work with them a little bit more, the problems will depreciate a damn sight more, you know, than they are at the moment.
Since you've been here, the Australian team's been hammered by the press because of their failure for the World Cup. Where do you think the fault lies? Now that you're leaving, an honest appraisal, where are the problems?
The fault lies, you know, in fairness, Sir Arthur George said quite early, he hires a coach and he sacks him. I think it really was a disaster.
If Tommy Docherty had been offered that job in the last few weeks, would Tommy Docherty then be staying in Australia?
Yes, definitely. There's no way they're going to England now.
You would have wanted the Australian national job?
The biggest disappointment to me was that Rudy asked me to help him, and I'm not saying it was his word, but he said we couldn't pay me because of the financial situation at the ASF. I said, well, I want paid. I want $1 a week. If I'd have got that $1 a week, and I needed $1 a week like a hole in the head, Australia would have been qualified in the World Cup in 1982.
And you'd still take the job for $1 a week?
Not now, but at that particular time.
Before the Preston job came on?
Yes.
You would have done?
I'd have taken it for nothing.
Why would you have done it, though, for nothing, Tom?
Because I knew I'd have done the job successfully, and afterwards I can name my own terms. I'd have done the job first of all, and then got the rewards afterwards. But the most important thing to me, I'd love to have done the job because John Thompson brought me out here. I'd love to have done it for him because, you know, we have a great relationship. I've known Sir Arthur George for many years, even before I came out to Sydney Olympics. I'd like to have done it for him. But most of all, I'd like to have done it for Australian soccer. And I would have done it. Then, when I did the job, then I'd have named my own terms.
So you must have been confident then that the players are available here in Australia to get the job done.
Oh yeah, tremendous players. It potentially is fantastic. No, I'll be coming out now in about maybe, I'll be coming out here every May and June to, you know, search for the transfer market. Now I know the score. I mean, I brought 2 kids out here, David Cort and Tommy Gavin. Now, there's 2 super kids. Now, I didn't know the standard when I came out here. Now, these 2 boys haven't done as well as I thought they would have done, for the simple reason. I didn't know the strength of the market. Now, I do know the strength of the market. And when I come out the next time to look for players, even now, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Preston North End could have an Australian national team playing in the 3rd division.
Because if you had been in charge of this current campaign, how many changes in the Australian team would you have made if you'd have had to select the teams for New Zealand and the games against Taiwan, etc.?
Well, it's difficult to say because when I came out here, the programme was already decided and it was underway. But when I look at a lot of the players, with the players that Rudy Guttendorf picked, he should have still won the competition. I think the preparation was wrong. I think Rudy's preparation was wrong. I'm not having a go at him because I think he's a smashing fella.
But in what way was it wrong?
You know, all this situation about spying and looking at the opposition. You don't worry about the opposition. You make your own plans and you decide what you're going to do. You don't worry about what New Zealand are going to do and what the preparations are. You go out and you set your plans out and you go out to win your home games and you go out to win a point away from home. And you get 2 points away from home, fantastic. But, you know, I laughed at the newspapers. It's not their fault. I mean, they've got to print stories. But this spying mission and, waking the players up at 7 o'clock in the morning to practice free kicks, it's crazy. I mean, if you haven't got your free kicks practice about 6 months before the match, you're not going to wake them up the day before the match and practice free kicks at 7 o'clock in the morning.
You've been a great exponent of pushing Peter Katholos, who's only just made the national team, and you felt that he should have been in the team against New Zealand.
Yeah.
Any other players like that you felt should have been in the national team that have been omitted?
Yeah, I think Brennan and Valeria of Canberra should have been in the team. I think Byrne should have been in the team from Marconi. I think O'Shea from Canberra, the centre half or the sweeper, should have been in the side. I think our goalkeeper should have been in the side, Peter Wilson. I think Woodhouse should have been in the team to begin with from Leichhardt. Phil O'Connor from Leichhardt should have been in the side. The biggest story, the thing that amazed me, which puzzled me really, not amazed me, was Peter Wilson of Leichhardt. I mean, obviously he's a very good player and a great competitor. I think the publicity that was given to him, I think Rudy should have done his homework beforehand. What I'm trying to say is, we were told that Rudy was going to speak to Peter Wilson to come into the national team, and obviously the boy had commitments at work level and club level, and then the boy turned it down, and he was right, because he could only lose, there's no way he could win. I think that should all have been done before it was announced in the press.
If you had been coaching the national team, the tactics, of course, would have been different. Would they have been the same tactics you employ with the Olympics?
Yeah.
Going forward?
Yeah. I've been talking to you now about Spain.
Well, here we see Tommy Docherty talking to his young Sydney Olympic side for the last time as he prepares them for their third-round Phillips Cup clash with the Leichhardt Strikers. Sydney Olympic and the all-white had done the early attacking, but as so often happens, it was the Leichhardt Strikers that took the lead. It all started with this free kick from John Coyne, which found Bill Pirrie, and it's his cross that leads to the Phil O'Connor header that puts Leichhardt in the lead. That was the only scoring in the first half. So we had a half-time scoreline of the Leichhardt Strikers 1, Sydney Olympic 0. the second half started, and it was Phil O'Connor who was causing problems for the Olympic defence. And it's his through ball that gives Marshall Soper the chance to put Leichhardt 2 goals ahead. A good run from O'Connor. And there's Soper, and from that range, he doesn't miss. The young Olympic team fought back. And 5 minutes from the end brought 1 goal back from their substitute, Roy Cotton. It all started with a free kick from their young skipper, Peter Katholos. Eventually it's Kenny Wilson that heads on, and Roy Cotton there adding the finishing touch and giving Greg Woodhouse no chance. So that gave us a scoreline of Leichhardt 2, Olympic 1. And on the stroke of full time, Olympic went close to forcing it into extra time when that one rebounded from the post. But it wasn't to be Olympics night, and it's Leichhardt who go through to the quarter-finals, where they'll meet Marconi. After the game, I spoke to a very disappointed Olympic skipper, Peter Katholos.
Yeah, that's right. It's very disappointing for us. We would have hoped to let Tommy go away with a win with the team, but unfortunately we couldn't do that. It was very disappointing tonight.
What's Tommy Docherty meant to Peter Katholos in the short time that you've known him?
Well, to me, he has helped me very, very, very much. You can't imagine how much my soccer ability has progressed and improved with him. I've gained so much confidence. I think I've matured more as a player, and I think I'm a better player than I was 6 months ago.
We also took the opportunity of speaking to Kenny Wilson, the longest-serving Olympic player.
Well, I think Tommy he's a professional coach, which is something we haven't had here before. He's full-time ideas, he's full-time coaching. Although we have part-time players, he puts it into effect, and it shows in the field. And if I could sum him up, he's a motivator. You know, he gets the players so keyed up before a game, it's unbelievable. You know,
what's he done that's improved your game?
Oh, motivation, I'd say. You know, he's the type of guy. He calls a spade a spade. He'll tell you you had a terrible game or you had a good game. If you have a good game, he really tells you, and if you have a bad game, he tells you, he puts you in your place. And you know, he's straight down the line, and he'll say, you know, that's what I want from you, and if you do it, you're in the team. If not, you're not in the team.
We also spoke to the Olympic president, John Constantine, and asked him what the future of Olympic was now.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's business as usual. We're contacting Doug Collins, coach that was recommended to us by Tommy. Even there, we're having a bit of a problem with the telecom communication problems, but we hope to have him out here shortly, and we'll ask him to take over till the end of the season.
Tommy's indicated that some of your young players could do very well in European and British football, and he would like to take some of them over. What's the attitude of the club on this?
Well, first of all, we're very happy that our players are now recognised as world class. When we got many of these youngsters, people were saying that Olympic have gone, you know, too young. But it's vindicated the club's foresight in getting these youngsters. And if any of them are good enough to make it in the big time, well, I, for one, will not be standing in anybody's way.
Well, with me now is Johnny Thompson, the general manager of Sydney Olympic. Johnny, it must be a very sad evening for you.
Very, very sad evening. Very, very sad, because what Tommy's done to this club, not only the club, but to Australian soccer. And so I suppose not only do myself feel very sad this afternoon, but the players are very downhearted. And I really felt that the players tonight, it was a reaction of Tommy going away. They felt they were trying so very hard to give Tommy a farewell present, and it's not only a sad day for me, but as I said, a very, very sad day for Australian football and football for us.
John, how did you firstly get Tommy Docherty to come here?
I've been a friend for Tommy for about 25 years, so forth. Long association with Tom. And when Tom was finished with QPR, I said, well, geez, this is a good chance of getting Tommy out here. I think he will anyway. So I rang Tommy up, and he came out. I said, okay, Johnny. Wasn't even worried about money.
Finally, John, what's the plans now for Sydney Olympic regarding the new coach?
Well, as the plans are very, very... It's very hard to follow a big act, you know? It's like me singing after Shirley Bassey, you know?
Tommy, the fairy tale couldn't really finish on a good note for you tonight with a 2-1 loss. Any thoughts on that matter?
No, I wish Appia very well. I wish them every success in the cup, and it wasn't really a fairy tale. I mean, our lads are a marvellous set of boys, and they've worked very hard this year, and they've played ever so well. Great entertaining soccer, and I hope they continue to play that way, because that's the way they've been taught to play. And as I say, it'd be nice to win tonight, but that's soccer.
And now the next step, of course, is to Preston.
Yes, that's right. We're off to Preston. Well, we're off to Manchester, but Preston's only about, 30 miles away. So it's not all that far to go.
Have you enjoyed your stay in Australia?
I've enjoyed it very much, yes, thank you. People have been very good to us. Yes, we've had a good time.
Fantastic, yeah, great.
We'll see you both back?
I hope so.
If she asks me, yeah.
Finally, one final word, one final joke for the Australian soccer public.
Oh, you sprung it on a bit quick, isn't it? Quick joke, isn't it? Oh dear, that's the one, aren't you?
You've never been stuck for words.
Oh, never am. No, I was a but Irish fella gave me a tea. Have you heard the one about Irish tea bag? It's waterproof.
So on that note, it's goodbye to Tommy Docherty, and he will be missed here in Australia. Craig, one final thing. There have been many so-called critics of Craig Johnston in Australia that said you would never ever make it. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Bob Paisley, Brian Clough, Dave Sexton, and all of them, Terry Venables, they said, you know, they all tried to sign me for $750,000, so that'll do me. You know, and these people that said I wouldn't make it, well, they've been people in Australia that aren't qualified themselves anyway, so I say to you, what are you doing now? You know, I'm in a job, what are you doing?
Craig, all the best in your married life. We hope that things work out beautifully for you and Jenny, and we hope you enjoy your stay in Australia, and we hope that you come back to the world of soccer before you go back to the UK.
That's for sure. Thank you.
Okay, well, you're doing the very important match between Sydney City and Canberra at the weekend. Looking forward to it?
Oh, very much so. I hope I get some goals this week, too.
Okay, well, that was after the scoreless draw between Heidelberg and South Melbourne last week. And you can catch John's commentary of that Sydney City-Canberra game on Phillips Top Soccer on Wednesday night at 6:30. But that's our program for this week. We hope you've enjoyed it. This is David Fordham on behalf of the World of Soccer team saying goodbye from our Sydney studios.